What's up, guys? I'm gonna do a 5-minute day in the life. We'll see how long this ends up being. My homie over there, his name is Steve. He says hello. And let's just get into it, because today's gonna be a relatively, low-key day. I do have to catch up on Anki cards, so I'll show you that after this, and we'll go from there. Is my Anki for today, and I have done this many cards, and the good part was I started it last night, so I was able to finish relatively early. It's only about 1 p.m. and so I'm going to now use this time to do a bit of online medical education. Online MedEd is the website, and I'm going to review specifically dermatology. This is Online MedEd. It's a great website that pretty much covers most of clinical knowledge, so it's not step 1 related, but it's more step 2. And right now I'm on dermatology. And so I'm going to review some dermatology videos, and starting with, I think, hyperpigmentation. I think I did not review this yet, and I'm going to try to finish all of these today. Once I finish all of these, I will probably review the Anki cards I made for them, and then maybe move on to doing some UWorld questions. We'll see all where it goes, but today I did want to review Online MedEd. For those of you who don't know about Online MedEd, basically it's a site that, again, Dr. Dustin Williams, the homie G, makes these. Video. And he'll make a nice, concise overview. And these videos are actually available for free for everyone. The only thing that costs money is to do like the practice questions, and there's a lot of supplementary information, but these videos themselves are free. And so this is really, really useful, especially for Step 2 CK. And so I've been using this to kind of catch up on things and learn things that I feel weak in. So with that being said, let's go ahead and do some dermatology. Okay, so this is obviously sped up, but the whole point of this voiceover is to show you guys how I go about making notes when I'm watching a video. And so in this case, you'll see that I'm kind of just watching along until big concepts are mentioned. And the moment big concepts are mentioned, I will slowly start to annotate the extra column of my Anki cards. And in that extra column, I'm pretty much going to outline the entire lecture. So he's going to go over multiple different diseases, starting with different types of hair loss in this case. And for each of them, I'm going to write down the important information, what's relevant, what's not relevant, how you go about diagnosing it, how, what might be high yield and what might not be high yield. And you'll see that right now I'm writing down what the treatment is for this specific disease, but you'll see that I'll continue to do this over and over again for all the different types of hair loss that Dr. Williams ends up talking about. And the reason for this is just that I will then have a template in that extra column that I can save because of the Frozen Fields add-on, which I've talked about in previous videos. And by having that saved, I can then use that template of information to create additional flashcards that I can, pretty much utilize moving forward. And the good part about those flashcards will be that those flashcards will have all the supplementary information right underneath them. And now I'm going to speed it up even more just because I want to get through the whole lecture and show you how I went about it. So you'll see that in this lecture so far, he's mentioned 3 different types of hair loss, and now the 4th one. And with each of them, I'm writing down what the underlying pathophysiology is, how you go about diagnosing it, and the different treatments. And again, the whole point of this is so I have a huge generic outline for a particular concept, and by having this concept map, the benefit is that I can then make a bunch of flashcards and not have to change the underlying foundational information. Now, as this lecture comes to a close, I want to now transition over to how I use this foundational note template that I just made in this extra column and utilize it to make the actual flashcards that I will then use to test myself moving forward. So let me now show you guys that part. Okay, so now to make the flashcards from these notes you just took, what I'll do is separate my notes, and above my notes I'm going to copy and paste the relevant parts that I want to make flashcards about. So right now I want to make flashcards about androgen alopecia. So I took the part of my notes that's related to androgen alopecia and copied and pasted them at the top of my extra column. And now every question I make, I base it off of those notes. Now I'm talking about dihydrotestosterone and the fact that it actually decreases hair follicle growth, and that's actually one of the underlying pathophysiology of androgenic alopecia. And now you'll see I'm moving on to the second disease, alopecia areata. And now I copied and pasted the segment related to alopecia areata right at the top of my extra column, and every question I make is based off of the notes I took about alopecia areata, based entirely off of the Online MedEd lecture. And again, the whole gist of this is so that when you make these questions, you know where these questions are coming from, and you have the notes right there. And more important than this, because you're making these questions on your own, you will remember them and also be able to see, oh, that's what I was thinking, and oh, I remember this from the lecture, because you're literally basing the exact questions off of the notes that you took on those lectures. And now, just to kind of hammer this home, I'm moving on to my third topic, which is tinea capitis. So you'll see I moved the tinea capitis section of the notes all the way to the top. And in the process, now I can base all of my questions about tinea capitis. What is tinea capitis? How do you diagnose it? How do you treat it? And you'll see that each of these questions, again, is based entirely off of my notes. So what I'll do is I'll continue the rest of this process for pretty much all of the 6 diseases that were talked about in this dermatology lecture, but I don't want to bore you, so I'll leave it at that. But just know that this process that I just showed you, I repeat with every lecture that I do, every video that I find online, pretty much anything I want to make my own flashcards on, I do it in this way. So now you guys know and have an insight into how I go about things like this, and I hope you found it helpful. What's up, everyone? So I did finish my dermatology module. Slowly after that, I started reviewing some UWorld, of which I have about, oh my god, like 5 sections to review today, because I've been so behind. Whatever, I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway, after that, I then proceeded to do a UWorld section. So here's some of my notes. They're not related to any of the questions. Basically, every question I'm questionable on, like where I don't know, I pretty much write the number down and do a star next to it. So you can see that this block, I had a lot of questions that I was questionable on. In general, I'm just a very risk-averse test taker, so I pretty much question everything. Like, I mark a lot of questions. But that's my day. I'm going to continue doing one more UWorld section, and then after that, we'll go for a run. So, keeping at it. All right, we're done with our 2 sections for today, and I actually feel really good because UWorld can make or break your day when you're doing it. And if you get a good score, you're just like, I'm done for today and I feel great. And that's kind of what happened today. And when you get a bad score, it's the exact opposite. So you kind of just take it in stride. The days that go well, you kind of just like, all right, it's a good day. I'm going to maintain my positive attitude, move on. When it's a bad day, you're like, all right, I'm just going to wait for the good days. So at this point, I'm going to go run. Got my Pollos Hermanos shirt on because Breaking Bad's the best. I will now also probably only do 3 miles today because I feel like it's been a passive week and it's gonna rain maybe, so we'll see. I'm gonna go on a run, take you guys with me, have some fun along the way. In terms of the number of hours I've studied so far, I think I'm about at 8 hours ish, which is good because today was supposed to be a catch-up day because I literally did not work at all the last few days because of all the graduations and everything that was happening. So let's just go on a run together, guys, and come back, see how much more work we want to do before we call it a night, or watch some episodes of The Office. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so first mile done. I think I'm on like 1.5 in. Did it around a 8:20 pace. If you know me, you see my stats on Instagram. I almost always start around 8-minute pace, maybe high 7s, and then I slowly get faster every mile. And that's kind of just the way I like to run. I can definitely run faster than this. I just find my legs react a lot better. And so you'll see me every mile get a bit faster. I'm only doing 3 today and I'm trying to keep it easy. But 8:20 is what I started on. So I'll check in with you guys at around mile 2 and see how it goes, okay? Let's do it. If you guys are running, get out there, man. It's a good weather. All right, mile 2 down. I believe it was 7:30. So it felt good. Keeping it up. Getting a bit faster. We got 1 mile left. I don't plan on going too fast, especially if you're not doing a workout and you're just going easy trying to get a workout in. Your last mile can be the fastest, but it shouldn't be something where you're like exhausted, right? So my goal here, maybe go 7:20, 7:10. If I'm really feeling it, maybe I'll break 7. But again, I'm not trying to break any world records here. That's usually on workout days, and workout days are entirely different from days where I just want to get out and run and get an exercise, and that's what I want to do right now. So let's go ahead, finish this last mile, keep it chilling, and we'll go from there. All right, 3 miles done though. 7:20 was my last mile. Feeling good about it. Felt chilling. I'm gonna stretch. Always stretch after you run. Got in, probably 300-400 calories, and it was only 30 minutes long. Running is probably the most calorie efficient exercise aside from swimming, because it burns like the most calories in like per unit time, I'd say. So I'm pretty happy about it. If you guys like these running things, let me know, because I run a lot and it's one of my biggest passions, and I think I might bring you along with me because it is a big part of my identity. And running is so metaphorical. I think I've said this multiple times where, running just like that, I felt like crap starting, but you start warming up to it And it's kind of like, yo, life is kind of like that. It's just like annoying to have to study all day. It's annoying to have to try to get my life together, or annoying to try to look for optimism in a world that's filled with negativity, but you still do it. And so that's kind of where we're at. Gonna stretch now, shower. It's probably gonna be around 7:30, and we'll go from there. Maybe get some dinner and work out. Not work out, but back to studying. That's how it is. So I now wanted to take you guys through the end of the day, since I'm officially getting to the end of when my Anki will restart, because right now it's 10:47 p.m. and it usually restarts at 11. So at the end of the day, I pretty much take all the new cards I made and go through them again. And usually, if I did well enough, or if I made the cards well enough, I can usually go through them pretty fast. So because I'm on a time crunch, you're actually going to see me do this live time. And I just want to show you, like, okay, in the morning, I finished all my reviews. Then I did a bunch of new content, online meta ed, and I also reviewed stuff on UWorld. And basically, the questions that I did on both of those, basically, are now going to come up here. So let's just go through this, and I can show you. Again, not really much to see here. This is just me doing flashcards, and it's definitely sped up. But the point is, these were all flashcards that I made earlier in the day, and I know you guys remember the voiceover I made while I was going through the lectures. I made additional flashcards on additional lectures after that fact, and these are some of those flashcards. Point being, I make those flashcards in the morning, and I review them in the afternoon at nighttime, primarily because my Anki resets at night. So I want to make sure everything that I kind of learned in this day, I condensed, and I brought it all together before the day was over. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now, and I pretty much kind of go through it really fast, because the whole point is get this in, make sure I can then review these concepts tomorrow, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So just wanted to show you that this was my process. But yeah, let's see what else I do after this. And I barely made it just in time. It's just 11. So you see my finished deck right here. It should reset very soon. And you'll see that tomorrow I have about 1,000 cards, which is, good news, because I didn't think I would have that many, but I also think 1,000 should be manageable. So now if I just, refresh, you'll see that I actually do have all of those transferring over, and now officially the day tomorrow begins. And so that's kind of my ritual. Every day I finish my review cards in the morning, I'll do my UWorld, I'll add a bunch of review stuff into my deck, and usually I add it to my weeks, right? I have like my current week underlined in like YOLO. So because it's so much easier to just transfer cards when I write YOLO, I add the YOLO as a placeholder. So that way, anytime I want to move cards into this deck, all I need to type in is YOLO, and that's like so unique to this deck that it automatically goes in. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then by the time it's 8 or 9, I will slowly transition into reviewing all the new cards, so that way I can see them the following day. And so hopefully that gave you guys all an insight into my academic workflow in terms of how I get started in the morning, review, and how I ultimately finish off the day. And that's kind of how it's always been. So before I sign off for the night, I wanted to show you guys, I actually got this from Berkeley because my sister went there for grad, and boom, this is my all-time favorite pizza. And so every night I usually have some level of a midnight snack, and this is gonna be today's. That's not all. It also comes with this like amazing cilantro sauce, and I cannot tell you how much I love this sauce. So I usually take this sauce with this pizza. I'm gonna warm it up and have myself a little bit of a midnight snack before I sign off on this vlog, just to celebrate a good, productive day. It is ready. And now for the final touch. Yes! This is the perfect way to end the day, and this is what I usually do. Awesome. Woohoo! What was it? And that about brings it home for this short day in the life. I know I wanted it to be 5 minutes. Didn't end up being the case. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. This is kind of the grind on most days for me. So with all of that being said, again, thank you for watching. Subscribe, and let's keep going together. Peace.